Ooh, I have all the flavors. We've got our mango chili zing's been like a nice spicy kick. And
Yeah.
then my personal favorite is the mango pineapple or the pina colada. But
Pina
boom.
colada sounds nice.
Yeah, it's especially this time of year. And welcome everybody. So we're going to be diving into our office hours. We have our special guest Rosie, who Rosie's been on before for our workouts, our live streams. And the cool thing is we're going to basically be talking about if you are in the middle of your own health journey, you're going to probably want to tune in to go over the insight we're going to share. Both Rosie and I are in the middle of our own health. Hopefully we're all in the middle of our own health journey, but Rosie's going to, I figure we'll share a little bit about your perspective from not only we've been kind of going through a coaching journey. You've been crushing it from what I can see from all the way even before the retreat in February. Now, between the coaching we're doing, between doing our pop-up, you have Pilates and yoga and doing cardio and cycling and all these different classes and all these different mixes. So yeah, Rosie, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thank you for having me. I know it's so hard to catch each other's.
Oh no, I lost her. We froze for a second. That's the component of having all the devices going at the same time. There we go.
I'm back.
Yeah. We had
oh my God. The universe really does not want us to work together.
Yeah, something's going on, but that's okay. We made it. We make it work out, right? And again, we're going to just be a little bit more efficient on this one just because I get to tag in with Carrie. She's not feeling so hot. So I think we're going to hit the ground running here pretty hot and heavy with our questions, with the insight to begin, hopefully delivering lots of value because I know there's been questions coming in on the back end around like health journey, weight loss journey. And we could talk about a couple different things. And obviously we're going to have you back on, Rosie, to talk about a multitude of things in a multi-part series. But the first thing I wanted to just start with is give us a little bit of insight on your more recent health journey, and maybe starting with where we started together back in a little bit before February, but from February to now, give us an update where you've been at, what things are going on, and I'd love your insight on your own journey here.
Yeah. So those that don't know, I am a mom of two. I have two dogs. I live in New York. I used to work overnights for the ER. I now basically am a boss of my own. I do a little bit of everything. And I've been just trying to find a rhythm that works. And since about January, we started working together. I don't remember the exact date. And honestly, it's just been like trying to be more mindful of what I'm eating, making sure I'm getting in my protein. Also, just trying to have like movement, whatever that is, like, and being a little bit more, I guess, understanding with myself because like our lives are crazy. And, you know, when you're younger, you're able to have that structure where like every single day I can work out in the morning, and it's like, when you're a parent, you have to be like, okay, you know, every day is not going to look the same. Someone's going to be sick. The schedule is going to be different. There's appointments. So I have been just being like, okay, this week, like, where can I fit in movement? And then, like, if something comes up, like, how can I still squeeze it in? Like, you know what, maybe I couldn't make it to the class on Monday, but maybe I did an at-home workout, or I tagged you in or something. You give me, like, the workouts on the website, which are nice that I could do from home. So it doesn't have to be, like, all or nothing. And I think that has helped a lot. And just, like, you know, like being very simple, like with food, like not overcomplicating it, like having chicken, like it doesn't have to be like a protein bar or like a smoothie or shake. Like leftover chicken is still a good protein snack versus then like, you know, just some random junk. So trying to just be simple with movement and food. So, you know, we're all human and like it's not going to be perfect, but just trying to make it easier, as easy as we can be.
Yeah, and I think you hit on like three important aspects I just wanted to highlight and take away for those watching. I always like to go back to like, hey, what can you do with this information and what action can you take like right now today? Number one, it's being mindful of a nutrition component to our lifestyle. So again, you have to like be obsessed about counting calories. You don't have to be, but being aware of our nutrition and having some sense of a plan. Because at the end of the day, no matter what your goal is, it will come down to what you're putting into your body, how you're fueling yourself. That's going to be a massive component. The other side is on the movement oriented side. And even if I had to pick, one of our past guests, a great coach, Jeff Lee, talked about this in a prior piece of content. If you kind of even had to pick in an order of operations, nutrition is going to be a paramount aspect and lifestyle and habit, because that's going to dictate a lot of the other pieces as far as what happens with our recovery, how our energy is going to feel, or body composition. A lot of times people are like, oh, well, I'll just like train super. I've done this myself. I still can do this. I'm going to train super on burn 4,000, 5,000 calories, but I'm going to eat 6,000 calories because I want to go hard in the paint and eat a whole pie of pizza and all this other stuff. So being able to be mindful of our nutrition and fit it into our lifestyle in a sustainable way. The other side is in the movement, right? Being able to say, hey, okay, if I can't go to the gym or I can't stick to my plan A, being able to have a plan B or a backup option, whether it's the bands, whether it's body weight, our home workouts, whatever works is ultimately what you're actually going to be able to implement. That's what we care about. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's what we can actually do in that moment. So I appreciate you hitting on all those points. The other thing I wanted to just like kind of infer to is like just the variables of life, like being a parent, being a business owner, dealing with working, dealing with kids, schedule, school's about to be out. That's going to change things. Curious what you've noticed, if anything, around like the stress side of life too. Because like stress is such a massive component that if we're even, let's say, exercising and we're doing our best from our nutrition and our hydration, but if your stress and your sleep is out of whack, things can get really squirrely really fast. So I wonder, talk to me about stress. What is something and how does that show up for you? And how do you even manage stress given all, like, think about all you have going on. Not everyone knows all of your life and like businesses and content and house and like all that.
It definitely, you could see like when you're stressed, it almost brings you back to like wanting to like overeat or pick on the wrong things or just like call it quits. So I feel like as soon as I start to like sense that, it's like, okay, one, if I need to like it's time to eat something, like what can I pick that like, you could still have that cookie, but it's like you can't sit there and eat the container or like, go for something that has protein or like a sweet with a protein. Like you said, I know you told me it was like try to always have like protein with that sweet so that like it kind of balances it out. But like trying to pick up on the cues because like on like a night that I'm like I really need to get a lot of work done but I also feel tired, it's like, well, if I stay up late I'm gonna pick, I might not be that efficient, let me just go to bed tonight on a decent time instead of staying up super late and my work is not going to be the best quality and I'm going to probably miss like eat stuff. And so I feel like it's like you try to like be more mindful like again and like pick up those triggers and if I'm tired it's like maybe I can't go do that spin class, but I could do like a little dance on TV. Like it's still something. And honestly, sometimes with the movement, I feel like that helps me because it's like, those happy hormones kick in. It's like you almost like you have to push, you just got to do it. And then you're like, oh, I'm so happy I did that. And like I feel better. And then I could go back to do what like I need to do. So, and it's like reprogramming your brain and just constantly doing it. It's like an everyday thing, like, like, yeah, I want to be like lazy sometimes too, but it's like, I know in order to get a goal, I need to be active or like, to feel good, I need to move or like to eat better. Otherwise, like it's going to affect me other ways. But I definitely see when like my stress level is high, I'm like, I don't really want to do stuff or like I'm more moody or I want to go pick for that bad thing. So like just calling myself out and be like, you know what, like, let's just go to bed or like, let's go, for a walk. Let's find something to do. Let's go do like a workout, a home workout. So instead of like, get myself out of that rut. So it's still a learning progress and I feel like sometimes it changes, but like being able to learn how to adapt and pick up on those cues and then like don't like dwell on it and dwell in it, just be like, okay, like nope, it's coming, so now what? Because especially with the kids, like somebody gets sick and you're like, oh shit, like the whole weekend's gonna be destroyed. So it's like, okay, well, what can we do? Like I can get things done around the house. Like, okay, I guess that takes my like I like, this is a time to do that. Like I can't go do my X, Y, and Z, but I can, while they're homesick, I'll focus on something else that I can be productive in still. So, I think that's like the whole parenthood is like constantly adapting. And that's just like health and fitness. Like every day, especially as you get older, is just not gonna look super structured and perfect.
Yeah, so that's really helpful. To your point with the stress, what I'm hearing you say is like, again, being adaptable. The cool thing you kind of alluded to, I think is really impactful is with those like feel good, like kind of signals from exercise, like serotonin's a big one. Dopamine is a really strong motivator chemical, but serotonin specifically can be a mood regulator. We get it from exercise, we can get it from social connection, from doing fun things, nutrition. 90 to 95% of serotonin is produced in the gut area. So that's massive as far as what we're feeding it, how it's responding to things. The point of saying all that is one thing you can actually do if you're watching this at home, whether it's live or the replay, is make sure you are having some sense of fun and fulfillment in your life And ideally, if you like you mentioned it, reprogramming our brain to associate fun around how we move our body. So if you don't love weight training, you don't have to just do weight training. You can do Pilates, you could do spin, you could do dance, you could do bar, you could go hiking, you could play with the kids. Like I literally, with my 1 year old, I think sometimes if I just did the thing she did for 30 minutes to an hour and I ran a class for that, everyone get a killer workout. So the point is find something fun. That's the one actionable I would invite. What I'm hearing you say too is basically being able to be adaptable, but also being able to do things that are fun and fulfilling as well.
Oh yeah. You
So
have to find the joy, and it's not always easy. And sometimes, of course, like even if you do enjoy it, you might just have that day where you're like, oh, I really don't want to do this, or it's not that great. But like one thing is like most places offer like free classes, and so you could always experiment there. YouTube
yeah,
offers stuff. You provide a bunch of different workouts. So there's ways to constantly switch it up and see like, okay, like, you know what, I like that when I'm more tired or, you know, especially as women, like there's certain things that we should be focusing on different months, like you have more of an energy or something. So trying to play around with it, you know, it might take a lot of like trial and error to be like, okay, today's more of a walk day, or today's more of like a Zumba day, or today's like, hey, let's look at what Mike provides and do one of his workouts. So and saying like I do enjoy working out. It's just like, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit more pep. And when I don't eat enough food, I'm not gonna have that pep too. So it goes definitely hand in hand as like making sure that you're eating because, you know, if you're draggy ass and not eating, you're not gonna want to do shit, especially work out, even if you do enjoy it.
yeah, and one of the bigger things to your point is being mindful of when we have those more stressful days or less sleep. Those are not the days we want to go super hard in the paint with exercise. That's not where we want to ramp up our system. That's days you can still move. We can find joyful things, but especially on low sleep, less than 7 hours, we don't want to go crazy with our training intensity. If we're just feeling stressed, we want to get an outlet. That's where, okay, yeah, you can use that and again, reprogram the brain a little bit and being able to, again, be adaptable because to your point, there's so many things we can experiment with, whether what we offer in LOF, like I literally was just on a call with someone before. We do our 100-day coaching programs, but this person wanted to specifically integrate boxing into their programming and they love boxing. They're bored with the normal weight training stuff. And that's where I was like, we 100% do that. But also for those of you that like maybe want to try something, we haven't done it before. I always say the story is like, oh, well, I'm not a fighter. I'm not a martial artist. Can I even do that? You 100% can integrate boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, kickboxing, Taekwondo, all of those things to make it fun or none of those things. Like I was at my daughter's, dance recital on Sunday, and I saw how amazing the ballet and the jazz dancers were. And I'm like, that's also a fun, great dynamic I would integrate. So there's all these different pieces. And I guess with that being said, I wanted to ask you, Rosie, like when it comes to fun, give us some of the things that you enjoy when it comes to exercise fun. Like what are some of the things that maybe you were even surprised by that you did that like felt good? And then B, some of the things outside of your traditional exercise that are fun that it doesn't even have to be exercise oriented. I always like to ask nowadays when I have parents on looking at what is fun and how do we like take action around that?
Yeah. I mean, I think I realized that I do generally enjoy like working out, especially like I enjoyed the F45 classes or even like the stuff that you provide. I like when it's almost guided or that like, you know, like the assistant, like F45 has like the screen, you have
Yeah.
someone there, or like when I do stuff with you, it's like, okay, I'm getting shown the move, but also like assistance. There's also like, hey, you can modify this because like you can still do it within reason for your body where you're at. So I like it's definitely enjoyable when you have that support. So I do like that. And it's just like also like switching it up because like sometimes like I like the Zoom board, just going for a walk. It really depends on like, you know, now that it's getting nice out, it's nice to just go outside and like walk around with the neighborhood or like, you know, go meet up with somebody. But I definitely know like having the support and like trying switching things up keeps me interested and I'm like excited to like, oh, okay, like I just tried spin and I was like, I didn't think I would like it. The bike is a little bit like, you know, hard to get used to like sitting on it. But generally it was pretty cool. Like, and I didn't even realize I could do that. Like I was like, I definitely can't do like standing up and sitting and switching sides. But then once I started doing it, I was like, okay, it's not that bad. Like it's not easy, but it's like it's doable even at my size. So and then I feel like like not when I'm not working out, I do enjoy like just like hanging out or like connecting with others and like trying new things. Like I just was on a yacht like the other day, so just you know getting out and doing stuff and also having adult time. I feel like we forget that like we're just constantly with our kids all the time, and I love being with them and I love doing stuff with them and experiencing life with them. But I still do like having just like adult conversations or adult experiences. It doesn't have to be like going out or eating, just like hanging out and doing something with other people, and relaxing. So, and it constantly changes, I feel like, too, like what I like to do. But
Yeah, maybe from right, the seasonal change of like depending
yeah,
on weather, depending on what's going on, maybe we get even
yeah,
tired of some things. I know that's where I like to like rotate for like an ADHD brain. Novelty is really nice for me, but
yeah,
that's really all right. So cool. Like, and it sounds like um being able to again change it up a little bit. And to your point, having that guided support, whether it's in like we have both like live coaching support options, we have like asynchronized where we have pre-recorded videos you can follow along with. Some of them have timers, some of them you do it at your own pace. Be able to have YouTube follow along videos, be able to have in-person classes, be able to have all these different things. It doesn't have to just be one piece. It's having, that's what I was talking actually about another client we signed up yesterday that was talking about the idea of not just one style of training, but again, as a lifestyle, hence lifestyle of fitness, multitude of training modalities and mixing it up. And that's what really keeps it fresh and also adaptable for our body. The one thing, it's kind of speaking maybe of our body and our mind. I'm curious your thoughts on this. I'm going to have a vulnerable share. I'm very critical of my own self. And I know sometimes for a lot of people, when I talk to clients, at this point, it doesn't deter me from exercise. It doesn't deter me from my goals. But I know a lot of people, when I work with them or I talk to them, our mindset and our story can be like, oh, well, like I'm X, Y, or Z. I'm not even going to bother. I'm a failure, or I haven't done this before, or I keep making this quote unquote mistake, or I'm wrong. So I'm curious, what have you found? Because you're no like stranger to like your own health, your own journey, and all these pieces. What do you find helpful when even life happens, right? Like even when we've created like, oh, cool, we're gonna do our podcast the other week and I had to move it or something came up, whatever's going on. What do you find effective in the mindset side? Like, what do you remind yourself of, or what becomes impactful for you there?
Yeah. Especially lately, I've been trying to be like just more like accepting that things are just going to come up. Like that is just our life, especially as like parents, but also just like humans. Like we make mistakes, we have bad days, like, and it's just like not getting so caught up and be like, oh my, like I remember like when I was younger, like, 15, 20 years ago, it would be like if I had three Skittles, like I felt some type of way, like I ruined my whole day, my whole week. And now it's like, okay, well, maybe today I had like, extra piece of cake because I was celebrating with somebody. Like that's not going to destroy my whole day or whole week. It's okay. Or like, I didn't have as many workouts as I wanted this week. That's okay. Like being more forgiving for ourselves, I feel like is super important. And it's constantly like retraining ourselves, but saying like, I would love for it to be like, better or, but it's just not ideal. And it's okay. Like, today we had a tough day or today we cheated a little bit more, but, we're allowed to enjoy food too. And I feel like, we get so caught up in it, like, oh, it's not going to always be apples and bananas and chicken and, steak. Like, you could have a piece of cake, you could have a cookie, or you could go have a workout, or you could take 3 days off, but just make sure you get back into it, because I feel like it's just constantly like saying like we need to forgive ourselves or not be so hard on ourselves. Like there's no perfect, and I know it's easier said than done. There's definitely still like even moments now where I'm like, oh, like, I definitely picked on a couple pieces of candy and like, you start to feel the guilt creep in and it's like, okay, like people eat candy. Like, yes, you shouldn't eat like a tub of candy, but if you had like 5 pieces because it was somebody's birthday, like, or you were out enjoying yourself, like that is okay. Like tomorrow you're gonna be back on your game or drink more water. So, but it's not perfect, but I feel like that helps. Like there's just like being more, you know, we have to say that like it's okay.
Yeah, what I'm kind of hearing you say is like with that mindset, because that's like I really appreciate getting the insight on the mindset of that kindness, practicing kindness, and like really thinking about the sustainability of it all. It's like, okay, listen, one choice by itself isn't gonna make or break when it comes to the overall body composition. On the flip side of that, though, being mindful of if we keep saying, okay, as using analogy that I use is like, okay, if I'm gonna just eat like Reese's peanut butter cups and like candy late at night every single night, that's not going to lead in my favor. It's one night, one choice by itself won't do it. So the compounding effect of those things, what I'm hearing you say is offering up kindness and being able to break the potential of it becoming a pattern. The pattern is what really gets us. So it's like making that whatever choice we have. And the other side, like, I like the idea, or I would offer this idea of I don't love the phrasing of like, oh, well, I cheated. It's like, we're living life. There's sustainability to it. Almost intentionally planning on, hey, sometimes we're going to deviate. We're not going to be 100%. We're going to deviate from a quote unquote plan so that we can have sustainability and being able to figure that out so that we know intentionally, yeah, I get to have a cookie because it's someone's birthday or for Mother's Day, or for a holiday saying, yeah, I'm going to have this thing and I'm going to look forward to it, or I can find substitutions around that as well. So I think that's an important piece of the mindset I appreciate you mentioned, is like being able to get back to it. That's even with fighters. I use this with everyone. It's like the 24-hour rule. Cool. Whatever you did after 24 hours, you get to pick it back up. Tomorrow's a new day. We get to start afresh again. And that's something I think has been really impactful, is the persistency that we can have that adds up over time. So yeah, I kind of wanted to pause there and like, again, recap a couple of the actionable things. And I'm also going to check in because I can see on the back end side, like, hopefully you guys can't hear this, but like I'm also seeing on my messages, Carrie's like crashing pretty hard. So I'm going to probably have to like wrap it up a little bit sooner than later. Unfortunately, we're going to do like a quicker podcast today.
We're going to like constantly evolving, adapting.
Yeah, this is literally a real-time example of like, all right, I got to pivot. For example, let's say this was a workout. I was planning on to do an hour workout, but guess what? We're going to have to pivot and make it a 20-30 minute workout. And hello. I see you in the chat. What's going on, Carrie? That's the other. Oh, that's so funny. There's another Carrie in the chat. Just say good afternoon. That's hilarious. But the point is, what's jumping out to me, I want to always invite actionable oriented things. Is I think that's actually the most impactful thing I would invite to take away from this is mindset and what narrative or story are we telling. And the thing I was just talking about with somebody else was, is what I'm saying in my mind true? For example, I like the way I would talk to myself, I wouldn't talk to you, or like, I'm a failure. I'm wrong because I missed a workout, or because I didn't like, I only did one set of an exercise I wanted to do because I ran out of time because of multiple reasons. I'm like, well, that doesn't count as a workout. I'm a failure. It's like, is that true? Is that actually a true statement? So the one thing I would invite for everyone, like, do this today, is you might be telling yourself a story. You might have a narrative around why you shouldn't exercise, or why you failed, or why you'll fail again, or why it won't work, or any of those things, or why it's hard. But ask yourself, how true is this story that I'm telling? And do you even want to like buy that story? Do you want to feed that story, as it were, continuously go with that story? That's the one thing I would offer. And yeah, I kind of want to offer you like maybe one thing from your side too, Rosie, as we like bring it home. And then I'm going to like give a shout out to our sponsor, BioLore, one more time. I kind of like racing through this, unfortunately, but what insight would you offer someone on a health journey? They're either thinking about starting a health journey right now, or they're on it and they're feeling like either I feel like a failure, I'm hitting the wall. What would you tell them? What would you wish someone would have told you, or you found helpful that I've even shared with you, somebody else shared with you, you share with yourself? What's something you would offer to people watching right now?
I think the biggest thing is like, don't just jump in and try to make all these changes at once. I feel like sometimes that drastic is just so much, because like you're like, I have to like train my brain, I have to eat healthy, I have to work out, and it's like, okay, like where can I start? And like everybody's starting might be different. It might be like, well, where can I be better with like maybe food? Trying to find alternatives. Like I like cottage cheese with strawberry and like maple syrup. I feel like that's a nice like treat, and it also is that it's got protein, but it's like sweet. So it's like that, better alternative than going to something else. So it's just like, and also I feel like if you wouldn't say it to like a friend, like why would you say it to yourself? And I feel like sometimes having to do that, like being like, okay, like, all right, I ate a little bit too much, or I didn't pick the best options, but like, would you go and tell somebody like, why did you eat that many cookies? Or like, oh, you only did 20 minutes of workout, that didn't count. No, you would be like, oh, good job. Like, right. Like, good for showing up for yourself. So I feel like being more mindful, talking to yourself better, and also just like starting slow. If, movement is easier to get into, then start with movement and slowly adapt your food. Or if, food shopping is easier and you can start there, then slowly add the movement in. You don't have to just like completely eliminate everything, or like go do a marathon. I feel like you have to find where you're willing to fit in, and just like being kind to yourself, talking to yourself like you would want to talk to somebody else, like cheering them on. Because this is like, especially if you've been struggling for years, this didn't happen overnight. So if you've been on this like up and down for like 5 years, like that takes a long time to undo. 5 years of like, talking to yourself so negative, or choosing not the greatest options to eat, not moving. So now you're gonna, you're reprogramming so many things. So I feel like just finding where you could start, and being kind to yourself.
Rosie, that's so good. That's such a great cut right there. So thank you for that, like dropping mic drop right there on the insight. Yeah, it's a perfect. I'll just wrap it up by saying, A, I appreciate you jumping in and pivoting, and like ironically, as we were talking about it, like with everything that's going on, I'll share one more time with our shout out to our sponsor. We got BioLore. I got the sea moss gummies. We got the sea moss jello on my shoulder. I'm going to be working on. We have a dessert recipe and cookbook we're going to be putting out. We're going to feature them as well as a variety of things. And the big thing, even when it comes to like, let's say nutrition, someone in the comments mentioning like their goals, wanting to lose weight, whatever your strategy is, even if you want to put on muscle, find the things you enjoy, whether it's movement, like someone mentioned Pilates. I know I love obviously martial arts and athletic oriented things and just engaging things. Find whatever joyful activities you have, find joyful food and lean on that. If even like, you have like, I love peanut butter cups. Instead of getting Reese's, I do homemade versions now. It's been a big thing I've been utilizing, saying, hey, I'm going to do homemade. We were talking about, I thought of you like making homemade gummies, like even like sea moss gummies from like a nutrients, but like, cool, I can make our own homemade friendly gummies. And that I think is so impactful. So I just wanted to again say thanks to you. Thanks to BioLore for sponsoring our office hours and be able to help support providing this to you guys and sharing the message. They got great on sea moss gel. It's a great substitute, honestly, for jelly. I know I keep coming back to that one, but if you like a peanut butter jelly, I swap it for almond butter or any nut butter you like, besides maybe your traditional peanut butter. And then going with the sea moss gel, whatever flavor. I like the mango pineapple because you were asking about that before. The pina colada is really good as well. They also have cherry pie. I'm not a huge cherry pie person. I like apple pie.
I think I would like the pina colada for summer.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. That's something I'm really excited about in September. It's gonna be LOS 15-year anniversary. We're gonna talk to BioLore about doing a fun giveaway and maybe see if we can hook some stuff up. I'll have to put that on the mix. Yeah, and even someone put in the comments like homemade fruit roll-ups. That's a great example. Like dehydrating fruit.
Like you like bagels, trying to make it with like cottage cheese so that it's a protein bagel and it's still delicious. You could throw everything but the bagel, seeds on it, so it still tastes good. I feel like finding better alternatives, not trying to do all of them, but like maybe finding one alternative for this month and like leaning into it, and then like maybe next month you find something else that you like and want to add to it. So.
Yeah, 100%. With that being said, well, one of the things we talked about too, we're going to have a little cooking collab because I love that. It's a great way to plug it. So you guys stay tuned. Again, make sure you're following, subscribing, all that good stuff. Again, check out Rosie Inked Wellness Mombi on pretty much everywhere. Also on Amazon, on wherever we're watching this. Again, I'll hit you up after this too, Rosie. We'll check in a little bit more. I'm going to go. I heard Carrie even like trying to grab Hope. Hopefully we'll get her to bed. We'll take care of Carrie. Appreciate you guys. Rosie, you rock. Everybody, you rock. I appreciate you, Carrie. Everyone in the comments, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again each week on our office hours. I got more collaborative fun going down. Make sure you're checking all our content and see you on the next one.
Thank you guys, and feel better to Carrie. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.